Not lying. Because for track, I'm working with the track timing system, and we're integrating different things to make things better. Okay, here we go. Now, solving equations. So if we have x plus 4 equals 12, how did we solve this?
You do 4 minus 12.
You do what to both sides of the equation?
Well,
Subtract 4. That's a better way of saying it. We subtract 4 from each side of the equation. X equals 8. Okay? So if x, just Blake, let me talk. X plus 2/3 equals 2. If we have this, okay, how is this equation different than this equation?
I have a way of solving it.
Good, Blake. How would you solve it?
Can't you do 2/1 and subtract them?
You can. Okay. So, but what's the difference between solving this top equation and solving this equation?
One of them's a fraction.
The only difference is one of them's a fraction. You use the same tools. You use the same tools as what we did here to solve this one. If we subtracted 4 on this one to get x alone, we're going to subtract 1 on this one. 2/3. So we're going to subtract 2/3. Are you allowed to use your calculators now in this class?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. So
I'm still allowed to use calculator.
you are allowed to use the one you broke until you pay for the one that you broke.
I
So
can give you one. When are you going to leave this school?
when am I going to leave this school? What do you mean?
Not
In 2 days, just so you have.
Not in that way. But when are you going home? Like, when are you going to be out of school?
Today? What time? Tonight at 9 o'clock, because I go from here. I'm going to drive bus after school. Then I'm going to come back, be here for volleyball until 9 o'clock tonight.
I can give you a calculator.
The same calculator, same model,
Same model.
same model.
Same model.
Okay.
Blue.
But it's blue. You may do that.
But I don't have it on there.
Okay. That's fine. So if we subtract 2/3 from each side, 2 is the same as 6/3. Because what's 6 divided by 3?
2.
2. What's 6/3 minus 2/3? 6 minus 2.
4. 4/3.
So x equals 4/3, or your calculator might call it 1 1/3. Either way is fine. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Ridgeway.
So, what we did here, you guys know when x plus 4 equals 12, you just subtract 4. So when you see a fraction, don't let it mess with you. X plus 2/3 equals 2, so just subtract 2/3. Okay?
How did you get 6/3 out of 2?
What's 6 divided by 3, Blake?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. All right, let's do another one.
Copia eso y ahorita te explico.
Okay, 2.5 plus x equals 6 3/4. How do we get x alone? Blake. Subtract 2.5 from each side. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3/4 minus 1/2. What?
You need to get common denominators. 4. And then 1 minus
3 minus 2 is?
3 minus 2 is 1. So you get 4.
So it's 4 is 1/4.
Dude, let me answer. Yeah.
4 and 1/4.
Thank you, Mr. Beard.
Thank you, Blake. Okay.
Can I answer this one to see if it writes it down?
This one, you may answer, Blake. This one, what would you do to both sides first, Blake?
Subtract 5 and 2/3. No, 2 from both sides. 5 and 2/3.
Actually, Anthony says add 2 to each side. Okay?
No, you don't.
He does know the answer, but we're waiting on you to answer it, Blake.
Okay.
What's 5 and 2/3 plus 2?
5 and 2/3 plus 2. So you can get 6/3 with that.
You're making it too complicated, Blake. Blake.
7.
So 5 and 2/3 plus 2 is?
7/3.
7 and 2/3.
7 and 2/3. I'm so smart, dude. I'm the smartest kid in this class.
Blake, don't say words like that.
Say, I am smart in this
What's your grade in this class? Oh, my grade in this class.
Hey, shh. All right. Let's look at this one.
Can I answer this one already?
No, I do not want you to answer this one, Blake. Okay. Now, a number times n equals another number. When you have fractions involved, we're not going to divide by 5/6. When there's a fraction involved and we're multiplying or dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. Okay? So when fractions are involved in this case, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of negative 5/6? Does anybody know what the word reciprocal means?
Same.
Nope. What's the reciprocal of a fraction?
I don't know. There's some smart answer fraction.
That's when you take a fraction and you flip it upside down.
It'd be -6.
We just defined it, David. We just defined what a reciprocal is. We just got done saying that's when you take a fraction and flip it upside down. So if I because we started with this, right? So if we flip the fraction upside down, if I multiply this side by -6/5, I have to multiply by this side by -6/5. Yes, Braden.
-3/5.
Let's not go there yet.
Yes, sir.
So the reciprocal would be -6/5.
The reciprocal is -6/5. Okay, so we're going to take 20 times -6/5. Now, you could multiply that on your calculator, because if you push the division button like Braden did, you'll get a number that's really weird. Okay? I know that, Blake. Okay? So, if the 5 and the 20 cancel, because they go into each other, because it's 20 over 1. How many times does 5 go into 20? 4. So what's 4 times -6? Hey, we did this by hand earlier this year. We multiplied fractions earlier this year. Yes, we did. Okay? So you got to recall some of those skills that we built. All right. Three and 3/5 equals -2 1/4 x. Now, if you want, you could divide by 2 1/4 on each side. Okay? You could do this on a calculator because the number next to x is negative 2 1/4. So you could divide by a negative 2 1/4. That's still usable, Blake.
Section C.
Shh, Braden. Focus. Okay. But if you didn't have a calculator ready available, or you didn't know what to do, what we do is make these mixed numbers into improper fractions. How do I make this into an improper fraction? Take 5 times 3 plus 3. So it's 18 over 5 equals, on this side, 4 times 2 is?
8.
Plus 1 is?
9.
So it's a negative 9 over 4x. If I want to get x alone, which reciprocal am I going to multiply by? The reciprocal of 18/5 or the reciprocal of 9/4? Which reciprocal am I going to use? The 9/4. What's the reciprocal of 9/4?
4.
Negative 4/9. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4 over 9. So I'm going to multiply this side by negative 4 over 9, because that was the reciprocal. Now, does 9 go into 18 evenly?
Yes. Yes. 2.
So this is 1, and this is 2.
Yes.
So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. 1 times 5 is 5. So x equals negative 8/5. Or the calculator might spit out at you negative 1 3/5. Okay. All right. So if you want to use your calculator, it is fine with me today. It is fine. You may. How would I get k alone? Answer yourself, Blake. How do I get k alone? Ben, what do you think? How would I get k alone?
Plus negative 2 2/3. Actually,
I want to get k alone. I don't want to move things just from the left to the right. I want to get k by itself. No, not negative 6 1/8. You're at a negative 6 1/8. You want to get it to 0. So you're going to add 6 1/8. Whatever you do to this side, you got to do to this side. Add 6 1/8. Again, your calculator can help you out so much here. Negative 2 2/3 plus 6 1/8 is going to be probably 3 and something. Yes, Blake. Shh. Not yet. Not till we start homework. So somebody with a calculator, take negative 2 2/3 plus 6 1/8 and see what you get. Negative 2 AB over C, 2 AB over C, 3, plus 6 AB over C, 1 AB over C, 8. 3 and 11 24s. That's too bad. Okay? How do we feel about this? Can we do 10 problems like this?
Maybe.
Well, let's see if we can.
I mean, you had to help.
And Mrs. Odegaard and I will be lending a tad bit of help today.